If you've never changed the oil in your car before, you've probably got the idea that it's all a very dark and mysterious process. Well, fear not. Changing your own oil is a lot less mysterious than the contents of your average meat pie, which, mysterious or not, is still warm. So before I get my hands to... First thing is to check your manual for the manufacturer's recommendation on how often the oil needs changing and what sort to use. You might also want to check the engine oil selection guide at your local Supercheap store. Once you've got that sorted, you'll need a few things. Either a jack and axle stands or some car ramps so you can get underneath the car. You'll need a socket or spanner for the sump plug, a drain pan to collect the old oil, an oil filter wrench to remove the old filter and replace it with a new one, a funnel, some rags to clean up with, and a container for the old oil once you've collected it. Not much really, even if you're starting from scratch. Now, the car's running because oil drains more easily when it's warm, and the heat also helps to drain out any built-up sludge. It should get to normal operating temperature, so just let it idle for a few minutes. You need to have the vehicle on a nice level surface, then either drive onto the ramps nice and slow or jack it up. Make sure the handbrake's on and the rear wheels are chocked. Then get yourself underneath with your spanner or socket and the drain pan. Find the sump plug and carefully, hot oil can burn, undo the sump plug and drain the old oil into the pan. Once it's drained, replace the plug, preferably with a new washer. Tighten it firmly, but not too tight. Some manufacturers recommend a specific torque on the sump plug. You'll find that in your manual. Remove the old oil filter with the oil filter tool. Put the pan under it while you do. It's likely to be full of oil. Grab the new oil filter and rub a little fresh oil over the oil filter gasket. Then screw it into location. Hand tight's usually enough, but a slight tighten with the oil filter wrench can be a good idea if your hands are oily. Next step is to replace the oil. This car does a lot of short trips, a lot of stop-start city driving, so we're using a fully synthetic oil for added protection and reduced wear. Check your manual for how much oil the engine requires, and to start, pour in 80% of that amount. So if your car takes 5 litres, start by adding just 4, slowly. Some engines can develop airlocks, which can send oil back out the hole. Stop pouring occasionally to allow the oil to settle into the sump. Give it a bit of time, then add the rest of the required oil and check the dipstick to see that you have the right level. The dipstick will often show overfull when you've first added the oil. This level will drop when it finds its way into the new filter. Once you're satisfied with the oil level, start the engine and run it for about a minute. Make sure the dashboard oil light goes out or the gauge shows pressure. If not, shut the engine off immediately. A minute's running should have allowed the oil to circulate right through the engine. Then you turn it off, check for leaks, particularly around the sump plug and filter, check the oil level again and top up if need be. Most councils or communities have a place where you can dispose of oil safely. Never pour it into a drain or onto the ground. And there you go, job done. It's pretty simple and you shouldn't have any problems. But if you do, get onto a properly qualified mechanic. Now, might be time for that mystery pie. And remember, I'm here to help.